Welcome to Love and Abuse, the show about navigating the difficult relationship. From simple disagreements to emotionally abusive behaviors, you deserve respect and kindness. All the information on this show is meant for educational purposes only. Always seek a professional for your mental health and well-being, and always pick your battles wisely. I'm your host, Paul Coliani. Good to be with you today. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to talk about a couple messages that I received. I'm going to read them to you and we'll see where we go with them. This person wrote they were in an emotionally abusive relationship for over a year and a half, and it was confusing, and they started going to a therapist, and they said that they asked their ex, I guess he's the ex now, for clarity on the behaviors and what they could do better, person who wrote. And she goes on to say, I made mistakes in the relationship as well, and that caused it to end. He told me it was up to me to F it up, as he would put it. The full word, I'm not going to say it, but you get the idea. I would often tell him that statements like that set me up to fail. I paid for quite a few things for him, and he contributed some, but then he didn't finish contributing, and I had to pay for some other stuff. She goes on to say that he makes a lot more than she does. And she said, again, I made some terrible mistakes and I own them and I took accountability and I'm responsible for them and I'm actively changing my behavior. He doesn't want to repair the relationship, but randomly wants to see me. I feel used and abused. He hardly would be affectionate with me and would use any mistakes against me forever and never letting up on it. I'm not married to him. I just wish that I had information like this before ever entering the dating scene. I doubt I'll have any legal recourse with the finances. Help. Thanks for sharing that. And you didn't really ask me a question. You just shared the difficult relationship for sure. And I want to point a couple things out since you didn't ask a question. I'm going to give you my insights or my opinions here. The first thing that I want to say is that when someone uses your mistakes against you forever and never lets up on it, that's pretty much all you need to know. If you can't make a mistake and then either get forgiven or move on past it, because I don't believe you always have to forgive, you could just move on past it and be okay with it. If somebody can't let you go and let you be, after you've owned a mistake, you've made the mistake, you owned it, you apologized for it, if they can't accept it, then, in my opinion, they shouldn't be in your life anymore. That might be harsh. And I'm not saying that you should kick him out of your life. I'm saying that he should not have you in his life. And that's not saying that you're a bad person or you're not worth having. I'm saying if he can't accept you as you are, if he can't come to a place where he forgives you or wants to move on past it and can learn to trust you again because of whatever mistake you made, and again, you owned it and you apologized, if he can't move past it, then that's what you'll get moving forward, permanently, forever, like you said. So if that's where he is, that's what you'll get. I don't know how else to say it. It's just the truth. It sounds harsh. It sounds cold. But no one deserves to be with someone who will not let them live something down. If he will not let you live something down that you've owned and you've apologized for, and you're doing everything you can to become a better person yourself or become healthier in many ways, then it's on him to choose to have you in his life or not. I don't believe in someone constantly putting you down and making you feel bad and never letting you get past that mistake or those mistakes that you made. I don't believe in that, because what kind of relationship is that? If I couldn't trust my wife, if she made a mistake or betrayed me, some big mistake that is it can definitely be a marriage killer. If I decided to allow this to be something in the past if I decided to forgive and move on, or even if I didn't forgive, but I wanted to move on and I was able to process it and heal, the one thing that would have to change is many things, but one major thing is our communication. We'd have to be very transparent. If any feelings of distrust or a lack of love, a disconnect, anything came up, we would have to talk about it. Before it ever grew into something else, we would have to talk about it. It would have to come up. We would have to have the hard conversations on it. So when somebody makes a mistake, or when somebody does something intentionally and then they realize it was a mistake, and then it comes up because either you're caught or you admitted it or whatever, there needs to be a rebuilding of trust and feeling good about the other person. But to bring it up over and over and over again isn't a relationship anymore. It's I'm hanging something over your head. And that is something I will continue doing until the end of time. Because like you said, this person who wrote, he will hold it over my head forever. Actually, you said he would be affectionate with me and then use any mistakes against me forever, never letting up on it. I don't know if affectionate means, hey, let's have sex, and then after I'm happy, I'm still going to be upset with you about this, which probably guilts you into the next act of sex or whatever. Because another thing that you said was you feel used and abused. So that tells me something. That tells me that you don't feel like this is a relationship. You feel like this is maybe a hookup. Again, you didn't ask any specific questions here. You didn't give me specific details. So I'm just kind of extracting or extrapolating what happened from what you shared. And another thing that you said, which is basically the last nail in the coffin, is he does not want to repair the relationship, but randomly wants to see me. Again, to me, that just sounds like a hookup. And you're just there to give him what he wants, and he's not giving you what you want. And so that's not a relationship, not a healthy one. Because if he holds these things over your head and all he wants from you is physical intimacy, all he wants is sex, then that's not a relationship. You are being used, and I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want that to be your life, and you don't deserve it. We all make mistakes. We all do stupid things, and it sounds like there were a lot of stupid things on his side, and maybe that's what led to your mistake. I'm not giving you that as an excuse. I'm just saying that could be the reason. Because some people drive us to do things that we probably wouldn't have done if they didn't drive us to do them. Again, I'm not making that as an excuse. If this was infidelity, that doesn't mean I promote cheating when you've felt like you can't get what you need from your partner. I'm just saying this is how it can happen. It's like being super duper jealous of your partner, and no matter what they say, you don't believe them. Like, I wasn't attracted to that person. I was only talking to them. We're only friends. Why don't you believe me? Yet they don't let up, and they keep saying, I know you are attracted, and they're attracted to you. If they don't let up, you'll eventually be so afraid to share things with the person that's supposed to love and trust you that you might feel led to be in the company of someone else, someone who doesn't question you and someone who does trust you and allow you to be yourself. I can understand how the cycle works. I can see the ramp up to mistakes or intentions. I can see the ramp up when you have somebody that is just very difficult to be around all the time. You don't feel safe. You don't feel trusted. You don't feel loved. You don't feel supported. Of course, you want to feel those things. And if somebody comes along and makes you feel that way, and it's not your partner, you will be more enticed. And again, I don't know if this person cheated or whatever, but this is how I'm interpreting it. I'm interpreting that this person found someone else that she felt more connected to and wanted to explore that. And I'm all for telling the other person how you feel before you do that. I'm all for transparency, even the hard conversations like, gee, I wish you would trust me. I wish I could be attracted to you, but you keep putting me down and you keep insulting me and you keep doing these things and hurting me, but I'm not attracted to you. And so you are looking less and less attractive every day because of this behavior. I'm not saying this is how the conversation would go or should go, but that's kind of what it breaks down to, is that you feel compelled not to be, or repelled from that person. You feel compelled to be with somebody else when it comes down to someone who is mistreating you so much. And so when the abusive person is repelling you and you can't find any love and connection and a feeling of security and a feeling of being trusted and supported, when you can't get any of that from the one person who's supposed to give it to you, then what do? Do you just sit there being miserable? So I can understand how one can push someone away into another person's arms just by being who they are. So again, just so I'm clear, I'm not promoting infidelity here. In fact, I am against it. I don't want it to happen in any relationship. But I can understand why it happens and how it happens. I can understand it. And it's something that the emotionally abusive people have to consider, not that they can't trust their partner, but because they can push their partner so far to the edge that their partner has no choice but to fall off or jump or find another way to survive. And that's what I see happen. It can happen a lot. And so to this person who wrote, yes, I understand you definitely feel used and abused, and I can see why. And if he's not being affectionate with you and he's not letting this go, then he will never let it go. And you will always be in this space with him because he shows no sign of changing. That's terrible news, I know, but if you're looking for something from him, it might be time to accept that he's incapable of giving it. And you can stop beating yourself up. You can stop feeling guilty, because the guilt was when you realized you did something bad, a mistake or whatever. That's when the guilt comes. Then the guilt is supposed to push you into doing better and never making that same mistake again and being the best person, the healthiest partner you can possibly be. And you're taking all those steps. And as long as you're taking all those steps, you're doing all the right things. There's nothing more you need to do. It's either he accepts you the way you are, than who you are today, or he can't stop looking in the rearview mirror and is going to hold it against you for the rest of your lives together so he can stay in control, keep his power over you, whatever he's doing, or keep you as somebody that he can hook up with on the side. And I don't want you to be in that space, because you deserve so much more. You don't deserve to be treated that way. You've already done your time. You've already done the work on yourself, and you continue doing the work. And somebody who can't see that doesn't want to. He doesn't want to see it. He just wants you to feel bad so that he keeps his power and he can do anything he wants with you, probably guilting you into seeing him over and over again. And I think you deserve better. And I hope you listen to me when I say you don't have to beat yourself up over this anymore. You made a mistake. We all do. We all make mistakes. It's all about who you become after that mistake. And you have become the person that doesn't make those mistakes anymore. So you've learned your lesson. You can move on from this. I don't know if this helps or not, but stay strong. I know this is difficult, but you deserve so much better treatment. So I hope you can absorb that and accept it as truth. Thank you again for writing. I'm going to read you another message here. This person wrote, how do you know you're making the right choice to walk away? My situation isn't dangerous, but it's emotionally draining. I've been in the same relationship for almost 10 years. The first several, he was very verbally abusive, name-calling, fat-shaming, most of the time when he was drinking. And before I read the rest, I just want to let you know that I do get messages about female and other, non-binary and all kinds of people that abuse. It's just that the highest percentage of messages I get are from women with male partners who are difficult or abusive. So you'll hear me say a lot of he this, he that, and it's because that's the majority of messages I get. But I've seen a number of messages from other people, and I do read those. You just don't hear them as often. So let me go on. So after the few years of verbal abuse, he stopped drinking, and it was much less verbally abusive, but instead became very controlling, going through my phone, not allowing me to go out, constantly being interrogated. I moved out, but only a couple months later, we decided to work things out, but I was never fully back into the relationship because I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop again. We started counseling after that, and he seems like he is genuinely trying to change, but he still says mean things to my daughter. He tells her that because she is doing bad in school, she'll end up failing in life. He calls it tough love and tells her how smart she is and how she can succeed in life if she applies herself more, but his words still hurt her. He doesn't like me having male friends. He doesn't believe in male-female friendships. Is he 90 years old? I mean, this is old school thinking. Obviously, there's a lot more to the story, but to sum it up, I see changes in him, but still fear many parts of going back. We do have many good memories. And that was the end. So thank you for sharing that. And let me just give you again my insights and my opinions, because this one also doesn't really have a question, but she shared it. So let's talk about it. What I hear from his perspective, this is what I hear. This is basically him talking to you. Are you ready for this? My standards are valid. Yours are not. Again, this is him talking to you. My rules are valid. Yours are not. My insecurities override the way you want to live your life. How I want to raise your daughter is my choice, not yours. I refuse to let you live your life and let you raise your daughter your way. So I am reading to you a perspective, not that I believe he's saying these things in his head. I think they are just intrinsic. There are things that he just believes. Hey, my standards are valid. Yours aren't. My rules are valid. Yours are not. My insecurities override the way you want to live your life. And I raise your daughter my way, not yours. That's the big one, I think. But all of these are major problems. You said you see changes in him, but he's not doing the one thing a loving, supporting partner is supposed to do. And I've said it probably 3 or 4 times already in the last segment. And that is, accept you as you are. This person is not accepting you as you are, including your boundaries, your values, how you want to raise your daughter, how you want to protect your daughter from what I might call emotional venom. And finally, he's not accepting that you get to choose your friends. So without all these things, this is not someone who loves you. It's someone who expects you to show up how they want, regardless of what you want for yourself. And I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to just say, hey, he doesn't love you, so I hope you don't feel bad about that. That's not what I'm trying to say at all. I'm saying that people like this are incapable of loving in a healthy way until they deal with what they have going on inside of them. For example, this person drank and then he stopped drinking and then he became controlling because he still has issues inside of him that he needs to deal with. Something that he can't cope with. Whenever a challenge comes up, he can't cope with it. It sounds like he's speaking the way his dad spoke to him. Well, you know, men and women can't be friends. This is ridiculous. This is like 2026. And honestly, I don't believe he actually believes that. I think he says it as a way to control. Because it's ridiculous to think that you will not be able to be friends with half the planet. It doesn't make any sense. It's silly. It's just silly. Now, he could be projecting because maybe he feels attracted to other people, and because he feels attracted to other people, he thinks that you're going to feel attracted to other people. And so what if you are? Attraction is not the same as sex. Attraction doesn't mean you're going to hook up with someone. It can, but if there's no trust in a relationship, and you believe that your partner is going to go hook up with somebody, then it's not about attraction. It's about something else in the relationship, something else like jealousy and insecurity and all that stuff that comes up in fearful people. He sounds like a very fearful person, and he needs to work on his coping mechanisms because he hasn't learned how to deal with challenges that he can't control and can't handle. I can't handle seeing you with another man, therefore I'm going to restrict you from seeing other men. Talking to them, working with them, I'm going to restrict that because I haven't learned how to handle it in myself. This is his perspective. And somebody who is that insecure inside themselves will make up these silly rules so that they don't have to deal with their own insecurities. And that's what I see here. So again, yes, you're seeing changes in him, which is great, but is it enough? And even if he's changing in many ways, until everything I just talked about stops, you will always be waiting for the other shoe to drop. If everything I talked about, his inability to accept your boundaries, your values, how you want to raise your daughter, and doesn't want to accept your choice of friends, if that is never resolved, if he can't get on board with any of that, you will always be waiting for that other shoe to drop. Basically, you will be walking on eggshells. And to simplify this as much as possible, I can put it in this one bucket statement. And this is something that you can absorb inside of you. I don't necessarily mean you have to say this to him, but you absorb it, you adopt it as a philosophy for yourself so that when you speak, what you say is effective. And I'm not saying that you have to say any of this to him. I'm just saying it's important that you adopt what I'm about to say into your system so that you understand what a healthy partner looks like. Here it is. Here's the statement. Either you accept me as I am, including how I raise my daughter and accepting that I will have friendships you may not like, or you don't. But I don't have to change for you. You can either adapt and accept who I am and how I show up, or find someone else to control. That's it. That's the philosophy. That's what I believe you should have etched into your brain. Either you accept me as I am, including how I raise my daughter and the friends that I choose. It's my choice. You either accept that or you don't. But I don't have to change for you. You can either adapt and accept, meaning he has to learn to deal with his insecurities and adapt to them, or even process them and heal them, which would be even better. So you either adapt and accept who I am and how I show up, or find someone else to control. And the reason I'm giving you this statement is because how you act from that base statement being your foundation dictates how people in your life show up and how your life in general turns out. It's like a personal mission statement. This is who I am. You can accept it or not, but I'm not here to change for you. I'm here to be myself and enjoy my life and make decisions, and you either trust me or not. And you either trust how I raise my daughter and follow the way I want to raise my daughter, or don't. But you're not going to change that. And you're not going to affect my daughter because I protect her. And I feel that you are not protecting her. You are doing harmful things to her. And she's my daughter. How much more do you need? I would never tell my wife how to raise her son, at least when he was a teenager. Now I help because he's in his 20s and he's facing things that I had to face. But when they're children and they're still learning and they're imprinting and they're figuring things out on their own, the step-parent doesn't walk in and say, this is how it's going to be done. It just doesn't normally work that way unless the relationship has already been established and there's some sort of mutual agreement between the blood parent and the step-parent about how the child should be raised. Now, I have my own personal biases here because I am the step-parent in this relationship. So these are my opinions on how a step-parent should be involved in the child raising process. Doesn't mean I'm right. It just means this is what I've learned and how I believe things should go. I could be wrong. I never raised my own child, so you're smarter than me in this area. You are smarter than me. But that also means you know better than him, and you know better than me, and you know exactly what you need to do to bring your daughter up and raise her right and make her feel better. So I focused on your daughter here a little bit, but all this other stuff applies to you, and I believe it should be helpful if you really adopt and make this your base foundational philosophy going forward. I hope this helps. Stay strong, and I wish you the best. Love and Abuse is the official podcast of the Mean Workbook, an assessment and healing guide for difficult relationships. The workbook contains a 200-point assessment to tell you exactly what's causing you to leave so many interactions feeling bad. Gain clarity on your relationship today. Visit loveandabuse.com for more information. And you can also listen to the podcast over there, and there's even a safe listening button where all the titles to the episodes are changed so that you don't have to explain to anyone what you're listening to and why. Now, if you're listening to this and you've discovered that you're doing hurtful behaviors to someone that you care about, or you know somebody that's doing it to you and they're open to changing and healing that, sign up for the only program that walks you through the entire process of healing from being emotionally abusive. It has changed thousands of lives and relationships and can change yours too. Visit healedbeing.com to start with some free lessons right away. This show exists to remind you that you are not alone and you're not going crazy. You are worthy of respect, kindness, and love. And just in case you need to hear it again, you deserve to be accepted exactly as you are. Stay strong. We'll talk again soon.